fantastic audience.
They are awesome.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the spirit tunnel? I saw you.
You did see me? Okay. I got a brief, introduction that they were going to do that, but I had no idea it was going to be so spirited.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we're about.
Yeah.
Getting our spirits high.
No, get you pumped up.
That's right. You're from the Midwest like me, so we got
I
that.
am.
And I'm telling you in common, and then being from the Midwest
Yeah.
as well. Now, what did your parents have to say about you getting into entertainment?
They weren't incredibly supportive in the beginning. They both grew up in farm towns.
Oh,
and
really?
so when I was in college and I decided to drive to Chicago to audition for NYU, which is where I went to grad school for acting. But then I had to fly to New York. That's actually the first flight I ever took. I was in college, and the first flight I ever took was to New York to take class and audition at NYU. So that was the very beginning,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That reminds me, because my first trip was to New York too, after being eliminated from American Idol. So it's kind of a
was
connection.
that your first flight?
That was my first time being in New York, and I thought
Okay.
I landed in Chicago because New York looked just like Chicago. I went on a tangent, but it looked just like Chicago to me. Now, when did you realize that entertainment was what you wanted to do?
I'm sorry, I have to stop. How do they pass you over on American
You just
Idol?
got my mind juggling.
I know, but I mean, it doesn't
yeah.
make any sense that they didn't pass you forward, and I'm interviewing
You know what? But that was 20 years ago for me too.
Oh, it
just
was?
like
Oh, okay.
so.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm still here. Like, look at me now. 20
Yeah,
years
look
later.
at you now.
You see? So, and I mean, I've been able to do some amazing things, but you got to work with Carol Burnett? Like, what
I
was
did.
that like?
So that was my first job. So when I got
Your
the
first job?
Well, not
First job.
I mean, I did other things like insulated houses and but my first acting gig was straight out of grad school with Carol Burnett over at Disney, not too far away from here, and we did a sketch comedy series called Carol and Company.
Oh my God.
She was fantastic first boss, and the show was called Carol and Company. And the first day for the table read, she came wearing a shirt that said that the cast members were Terry Kaiser, Richard Kind, Megan Faye, Anita Barone, and myself.
Oh my God.
And so instead of Carol and Company, she had a T-shirt printed up that said Terry, Richard, Megan, Anita, Peter, and Company.
That is lovely.
Yeah, she's very cool. Fantastic first boss to have in the biz.
A first boss. I gotta ask, were you nervous to work with someone like that?
I was a little bit, there she is right there. I was a little bit nervous to work with her at the time, but she's incredibly disarming and so funny and so generous. And again, I couldn't have wished for a better first entry into the TV business. And my parents, of course, knew Carol Burnett, from television, so they suddenly thought that everything was okay. And I took my dad out to lunch.
I mean, you had to get cool points for that.
I paid for lunch, and he said, well, this is different.
So,
once I started making some money, he was okay.
oh my goodness. Now, you've been performing for a long time. Do you still get stage fright? When have you ever been stage fright?
I don't get a lot of stage fright. I think the most nervous I ever was in high school, and I gave the graduation speech for my graduating class. And, that's a one-time thing. You don't get to say cut. You don't get to do another performance.
No, you don't.
And I'm there in the football stadium with all the students and the parents and, I don't know, maybe 2,000 people, something like that.
That's a lot.
And, so that was probably the most nervous I ever was on stage, was high school giving that speech.
You're brave. Yeah. You've been starring in the hit show 911 for 8 seasons.
Yep.
I want to be like you.
Yep.
And I love Miss Angela Bassett. She is amazing. What is it like working with her? You get to play her husband, huh?
She is fantastic. Yeah, I have been working with Angela now for 8 seasons.
8 seasons.
And we've been married for 7 of them. Very successful relationship in Hollywood. No, she's a blast to work with. I think that people don't give her enough credit for how funny she is.
Yes.
But she is such a warm individual and so on top of it. I mean, she's a real pro, and I'm very fortunate to get to work with her. And it's been a fantastic 8 years.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
She got to play my mom, so I got a little taste of it. I didn't get a whole 8 years, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, well, she did say give my love to my little darling, so.
I love you, Angela. Come back and see us at the happy place, okay?
Yeah.
All right, since you starred in 911, I thought you could give us the 411. And I'll ask you some life questions.
Okay.
And then you fill us in, all right?
Well, we'll see.
Okay,
What we got
Peter,
going?
let's see. Where's the weirdest place a fan has recognized you?
Okay, well, I was at a Dodgers game, and...
Y'all can give it up.
Yeah. And I walked into the restroom,
But it is a weird place.
And he turned around from where he was and said, "Oh my God!" And he held out his hand. And I was like,
that can happen.
"We're not shaking hands."
How do you get out of that? Like,
But I was just like, yeah, I'm like, good, nice to meet you.
Nice
good
to meet
see
you.
you too. But like,
that is
yeah,
hilarious.
you know, meeting people in the restroom is not ideal.
Okay, I love that. Okay, emergency situation.
Yeah.
You're stuck in an elevator with one person. Who would you want it to be?
Easy, Angela Bassett.
Come on, Angela Bassett.
Because if there's an
Good answer.
emergency,
You're a good TV husband.
we'll get out of there.
You'll get out of it,
Yeah.
okay? Do you ever fall asleep on set? What's your favorite place to take a nap?
I mean,
Sleeping on
I
the job.
certainly have fallen asleep on set. I have a bad feeling about this. Oh, God. Yeah,
He sleep here.
yeah, that's the work of Kenneth Choi right there. Oh, boy. Yeah, looking real good. Oh, God.
That's a good nap.
That was a little
That's
nap quiver there. Yeah.
Let's see. You play a first responder. Have you ever needed a first responder in your own life?
There was a time I was filming a miniseries in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I grew very fond of the green chili cheeseburgers I could get at Wendy's. And so
Where's this going?
I know, right? I'd flown back to LA Anyway, I got a couple of green chili cheeseburgers, and I was eating them very quickly because I was hungry, and I started to choke. Like I couldn't breathe. Like I couldn't. Air wasn't going down my airway. So I thought I was alone in my hotel room.
No. What
You
did
know.
you do?
I basically performed the Heimlich on myself.
Really?
Did the thing and did over the counter, and it worked.
Well, thank God.
I first responded myself.
Yes, you better give me 5 for that. He first responded
we go.
himself. Ooh, this is a good one. And
Okay.
6 feet under.
Yeah.
Were the bodies in the funeral home real people or dummies?
Sometimes they were actors. Sometimes they were latex, molds or whatever. Like they had to do. If you haven't seen the show, this is a spoiler alert. They did have to do a cast of my head and my body for a scene where I had to be looking at myself.
Did that creep you out?
So it did, yes.